Hi, Brandon.
Hi there. How are you
Hi,
guys?
we're good. Welcome to our team call.
Thank you.
What I'll do real quick, I know we're all really excited to hear you or to have you on tonight's call. I actually took your course maybe about 3 or 4 years ago with Anne and had awesome learning outcomes from that I still utilize all the time when I'm coaching my team. So I'm very excited that you're coming on tonight to talk to everyone. And I'll quickly just introduce you before you get started. My name is Ilona Morrison, by the way, for those who don't know me. Brandon, that's coming to talk to us tonight, is a husband of 21 years and is the father of 4 boys. He's a resilience coach and the founder of the Brandon Barber Coaching Group. He has worked with over 1 million individuals over the last 20 years, helping them get mentally and emotionally stronger through coaching and mentoring. Through his own struggles with anxiety, depression, weight and health issues, cancer, and homework imbalances, he has developed tools to go from survival mindset, scarcity and fear, to thriving mindset, which is abundance and purpose. Fear, struggle, suffering, trauma, and illness are all a part of the power within. And when we accept it and work through, it will take you into a beautiful life full of treasure and reward. So you can serve yourself, your family, your inner circle, your team, your community, and ultimately the world. So, through adversity, we create our best selves. It is the genius that lies within us. It's time to cultivate the genius. So, with that, welcome, Brandon Barber. You are taking over.
Man, that sounded good. All that stuff sounded really good. Like
I
I want to be part of that. What was that? That was good. I I think Sarah's out there. Sarah, thank you. She said, "Hey, do you have a few words that I can share with these guys about you?" And I think I sent my whole bio. So I that's what Ilana
I love
wrote.
it. I'm sorry I
That's
can't
cool.
be on with video. The internet is scratchy at best. So thank you guys for taking the lead on the call, and thank you, Brandon, for being here. My team knows how much you and probably you don't know Brandon. I mean, I haven't connected with you since after your course, but I've got some stories to tell you. But they know how much you've impacted me, so they are just super pumped to hear you tonight.
Cool. Well, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me, guys. And I'd love to see anybody out there that has camera phobia. I'd love to see your faces. Like, I would really like, I'm feed off of you guys' faces. So if you can, like, that sounded a little bit like wrong right there. I feed off your faces. That didn't sound right. Um, I feed off the energy that your faces bring. So anybody that's got, like, if you're like, don't have your camera turned on, I'd love for you to turn it on because I want to find out. Like, I'd love for this to be interactive rather than me just sit and talk to you, right? You don't just want to sit and listen to me. My kids tell me all the time they don't want to just sit and listen to me. So my guess is you guys are in the same boat. You don't just want to sit and listen to me. You want to interact. So I would love for you to come off of your what would you call it? Because it's not a mute button. It's a stop video button. But I'm curious, like, what's going on in your guys' world? What's happening? I mean, oh my gosh, we've worked with over 1 million people over the last 21 years. And we start to develop or understand different patterns that people run. And we understand paths that they walk down. And we can't help but notice certain similarities with the human race, if you will, where they get stuck and they have struggles and they have subconscious sabotages that hold them back. But I'd love to hear from you guys today. This group, I had to look at the day, Monday, March 14th. Like, what are you guys up against? What's your greatest struggles, your greatest fears, your greatest insecurities? What are you guys having the biggest issues with today? What are they? I'm curious. I'd love to know.
I just recently, I just recently had my relationship completely end, and we have a 1-year-old. And I was kicked out of our home last August.
Okay, that's pretty heavy. I
Yeah.
couldn't see who was saying that. Was that I couldn't.
Hi, my name's Chelsea. Sorry, like whenever you said what's your greatest struggle, I was like, well, I'm in mine right now.
So you're in yours. How come, Chelsea? I don't even see you. That's weird. I can't even see your. Oh, there you are. Okay,
Yeah.
Chelsea Holly. Okay, thanks for being vulnerable. Thanks for being honest. Like, man, that's heavy. Like you're in a relationship for I don't know how long. You have a 1-year-old, and you guys just ended it. Like that's a big deal.
That was,
That's a heavy deal.
it's kind of like a blind side.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
What else? What else is out there, guys? What have you struggled with in the past?
There's some
Stephanie,
comments in the
you
chat.
unmute that.
Oh, sorry. Say that again, Jennifer.
You guys are going to need to unmute. He's not going to be reading the chat, so you guys are going to need to unmute.
So I said I see mindset. I'll try to do both for sure. I see mindset, maintaining positivity. The last 2 years, yeah, of course. Fear of what others think about me. Yep. Jennifer, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just to say there was some thoughts in the chat, but what about like, just mental blockages of not thinking that you are good enough for success?
Yeah. Yeah. And how do you overcome that one? Like, I'm not good enough for success. How do you create worthiness inside of you that you're good enough? You guys are like, yeah, tell me. How do you do that? I want to know.
I would say like affirmations maybe could be helpful,
It could be.
possibly.
It could be. It's one path.
What I struggle with is, they say talk to your friends and family about the business and product. And I do, but it's almost like when I'm sharing it, I feel like I don't have credibility. Or
Okay.
they don't think I have the credibility.
I've never heard that one before. It's like no, I'm being facetious. I hear that all the time. Yes, I can't talk to people about my business because I don't have the credibility. When I get to a certain rank, then I'll talk to them. Or then I'll have the credibility.
But I do talk to them, but they kind of just like blow me off that,
Oh, they blow you off. Interesting.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much like, yeah.
All right. Okay. Yeah, that's a challenge. And then maybe that messes with your own belief system, Brenda, and you're like, I don't know if I can talk to people about this. It like messes with your confidence.
I still do, but it's just like a struggle to keep going.
Yeah, I struggle to keep going. That's good. It's not good that you struggle to keep going, but that's good that you're aware of that. What else, guys? You're like, gosh, I don't know if I wanted to be on this call. We're just talking about our struggles, our issues.
I would say complacency. Just happy where you're at, and even though you have a vision for something bigger, just your current situation is satisfying you as well. So it's hard to be motivated or inspired to like really go for it,
Ooh, that's good. That's good. That's really good. Anybody like, yes, me too? Yeah.
Being trapped inside your own brain with anxiety and depression and just feelings of being good enough or feeling like a failure.
Ooh, and Kara, I don't know if it's Kara or Kara, but Kara, I mean, notice the words even. I'm trapped inside my own brain. Anxiety, I'm trapped inside of it. Yeah. And even the concept of that being trapped is like going to create some anxiety in itself. Yeah. What if brain is not you? What if brain is part of you, but it's not who you are? What if you're way more than that and brain's just this other tool that it helps you for sure when you ask it for help, but when it runs the show, it creates it wreaks havoc. Like when your brain's in charge, doesn't it wreak havoc? Because what's your brain's number one function? What's its number one goal? Its number one objective? To make you happy, right? Nope. It's to make you massively successful, right? No.
To keep you safe.
To keep you safe. It's to keep you alive. That's its number one function. So it will do everything on the planet to keep you alive and to keep you safe. Here's the problem. Safety and certainty, when you're always seeking just safety and certainty, when brain's left to its own like devices or its own advice, if you will, it's going to cause you to suffer. Tell me this. I'll show you guys this. This is really interesting. Tell me your 3 greatest experiences of your life, your entire life. What are your 3 greatest experiences? 3 greatest experiences. What are they? How many of you?
Was one for me.
What was it?
Becoming a mom.
So
Becoming a mom.
giving birth.
Yeah, not giving birth. That was not the greatest experience.
Oh,
But
okay. How many of you giving birth was one of your greatest experiences? You're like, yes, for sure. Ilana's like, yep.
definitely not.
Okay. All right. My wife, I watched her give birth to 4. We have 4 boys, all of them without any drugs. And she's like, they were all 4 of my greatest experiences in my life. I'm like, giving birth? She's like, yep. And I watched her in pain. But being a mother, yes, being a mother or being a parent. Damn, there's lots of challenges with that being a parent too, right? My gosh, there's challenges. What else? Greatest experiences?
I'll say I just recently lost a lot of weight. So that was the journey to get there was a good experience.
Ooh, the journey to lose a lot of weight.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like mentally and emotionally, it was a good experience for me.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah, absolutely. That's super cool. And you can throw them in the chat too if you want. Go for it, Kara.
Empowering young women in Girl Guides to believe in themselves and create a community.
Okay. That's super cool. Yeah. Anybody jump out of an airplane? Nobody's jumped out?
I tandem before, not out of an airplane, but off a huge mountain. Tandem air. Yeah, I wasn't in control, so I was fine.
Marissa, great. One of your top 3?
No, the top 3, not that the birthing, I had 4 C-sections, not that they were great, but the moment of going to the hospital, knowing that I'm going to hold this baby that I've been nurturing for 9 months, and then having that baby in my arms, just knowing that, okay, it was breathing, it's all good. That all 4 of them, but also my son's healing experience. I mean, God always wows me, but I'm always wowed when I'm wowed of the power that he has and how we're created and how our bodies are amazing of healing. But it was his healing experience, but it was also me as a mother allowing and giving him that space and detaching from my fears. I had fears attached. So anyways, it was going through the fears, not over the fears, not around the fears, but going right through the fears, living through that strength. And that's when the strength and the joy comes from going through that.
Yeah.
Through the pain.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Guys, what do these all have in common? What do all these great experiences have in common? Because I didn't hear anybody say, oh my gosh, it's the day that it was raining really hard outside or snowing. I live in Salt Lake City, Utah, so it snows here. And Sarah's actually in Utah right now, right? You're probably like, whoa, it's like, I don't know what the weather was like where you are, but today I was like 50 degrees and like perfect sunny ski day, right? I don't know if the snow was any good but it snowed here, right? And, oh my gosh, I like totally went squirrel on that and like lost my train of thought. Greatest experience. Nobody said, hey, it's that day it snowed. It's that day it rained. And I sat by a fire with a cup of coffee and a book. Now that might feel really good, but not top 3 greatest experiences good. Not even top 10. What do all these experiences have in common? They have fear. They have uncertainty. They have adversity associated with them, right? They have challenges that have to do with them. All of them. Top 3 greatest experiences. So the quality of your life, the quality of your business, the success of your business, the quality of your relationships are in direct proportion to how much uncertainty your brain is willing to tolerate. I'll say that again because that's really good. The success in your business, the quality of your life, the level of your happiness is in direct proportion to how much uncertainty your brain is willing to tolerate. In other words, how much are you willing to get out of your comfort zone? How much are you really, truly willing to recognize adversity as being this like thing that serves us and helps us? What do you think people's biggest problem is? Like, what's the biggest problem on the planet? An individual's biggest problem. Their biggest problem is they don't think they should have one. Mm-hmm. Guys, we're always going to have problems. We're always going to have issues. Here's the question. Are you accepting the challenge of whatever that issue or problem is in your life right now? Or are you running from it? Are you seeking out comfort and security in your life, or are you really seeking out the adversity and the challenge? What challenge are you running from right now? Because here's what we know. Every single story of every great leader, hero, heroine, whatever you want to call this person, every story, whether it's fictional, non-fictional, every story is the same. We call it the monomyth. It's the leader's path. It's the leader's journey. And it's the same adventure in every single story. Every single story of every great leader has what? They were what? What's the first thing that happened in their lives? Or not the first thing, but one of the things that's common with all of them.
They were scared?
Well, yeah, they were scared, but they were also what? They were challenged, right? They faced some sort of a challenge. Every single story of a great leader, there's some challenge they were faced with. How many of you have ever read a story of a great leader, and here's how the story went? They grew up in a very well-to-do family with lots of love. And when they were teenagers, they married their sweetheart and lived happily ever after, and life was wonderful. How many of you have ever read that story? Curious. How many of you are even tuning into that story? Like, not a great story. Not a story of a hero, great leader. What's the story? Every great leader has a challenge, right? We call it the leader's journey or the leader's path. They are called to a challenge. But here's the thing. Every great leader says what to the challenge? First, in every story, what does every great leader say when they're faced with a challenge? They're like,
conquer it or no?
They're like, no, I don't want the challenge.
Oh.
And I don't want anything to do with it. I'm too busy. I don't have the skills to take it on. I don't have the support. It's too hard. I don't have the wherewithal. I don't have the right people to help me. I can't do it. Every challenge, every story, they're faced with a challenge. It's like, nope, can't do it. You got the wrong person. I think even Moses in the Bible said, God, you got the wrong dude, right? I don't know. I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but I think that's true. So every great story, every great leader has been challenged, and they said no at first. But then what do they say? Eventually. They eventually do it. They eventually take it on. If they don't, they're drugged. There's a ancient Roman proverb that says, fate will help the willing, and those who won't, she drags. How many of you have not voluntarily stepped into something and you got drugged through it? Alana? Yeah? Anybody want to? I'll share my story. Like for 15 years of my adult life, maybe 20 years of my adult life, I was anywhere from 30 to 70 pounds overweight. 30 to 70 pounds overweight. Most of my adult life. Took on my health once in a while for two months at a time, maybe. I'd go work. I'd get engaged. I'd work out. I'd start doing well. I'd go on a diet. Then I'd gain the weight back. Like most of my adult life, this is what my life was about. I didn't take my health seriously. I didn't voluntarily take my health on. Anybody in that boat where they've struggled with taking their health on at another level? Leah, you talked about just going through this experience where you made it a priority, right? Yeah. I didn't take my health serious. And then I got a call one day that said, you have cancer. And it doesn't look good. Like this is serious. Like it's advanced. So I didn't voluntarily take on my health. I was forced to deal with my illness. Now I get to tell you today, 2.5 years later, I am in the best health I've ever been in my life. I'm at my ideal weight. I eat healthy. My health protocols are amazing. Like I am the healthiest I have ever been in my life. But I got drugged because I didn't voluntarily step into it. I wish I would have stepped into it voluntarily. Because as much as the adversity and struggles have served me in a great deal, it would have been much easier to just volunteer for it, right? I'm curious right now for you guys. What are you not taking on? If you don't handle your health, you'll be forced to deal with your illness. If you don't handle your relationships, you'll deal with resentment, loneliness, maybe even divorce. If you don't take on a mission, you will feel unfulfilled. If you don't take on your leadership in this business, you'll have to rebuild, or you'll have to start over, maybe regret, or feel like you're less than or not enough. What right now are you not voluntarily stepping into? Like, what is the challenge you're not voluntarily stepping into? And if you don't, fate will drag you. And maybe it's just leadership. Like, how many of you are really stepping into your leadership? Like, you know it. Like, I'm stepping into my leadership to its fullest extent. And you know it because you engage every single day with lots of people. Yeah. And engagement's an interesting thing. How many of you want more connection in the community? You really want more connection in community. Let me ask you, how engaged are you? On a scale from 0 to 10. How many of you want more connection in your intimate relationship? How engaged are you? And you're like, I am super engaged and they want nothing to do with me. That's different. But my guess is that's not what's happening. We want the connection, but we're not engaged. How many of you want so much more engagement in your business or so much connection in your business, but you're not engaged? Not at the level that you know you could be. Yeah. So what are you doing right now? What are you taking on? And if you're not, and you don't take on this challenge, something's going to happen. Now, listen, I get the challenge is scary. Like one of the things that great leaders all go through, if you read any book, if you watch any movie, or you know any history of any great leader, they've all gone through what? Massive. Once they accepted the challenge, they have this thing called the road of trials. And they go on this road of trials. And the road of trials, it's like, that's where all the challenges show up. That's where all the difficulty shows up. That's where we need bravery. And by the way, bravery is not the absence of fear, right? Fear is the price of passion. So this is where we have struggles. This is where we have issues. This is where life gets hard. How many of you just went through a road of trials the last 2 years? Yeah, for sure I did, right? COVID and cancer, the two things that don't go well together, right? I don't think anything goes well with COVID, except for Netflix and wine, right? With a lot of people engaged in COVID doing that. It's like community. How many of you guys have a community and your community is a TV show? Like I know I built this community. When COVID first hit, I started watching Schitt's Creek. Anybody watch Schitt's Creek? Man, my whole community right there. Every night, there's my community, right? In Netflix. not really the community I wanted to build, but it was a safe place. And I'm not, no shame against anybody who did the same thing, but if you're missing out on connection, you got to ask yourself, where are you engaging? Yeah. Where are you engaging? Because the road to trials is real. It's the real thing. And if we try to avoid the challenge, if we try to bypass the road of trials, if we try to skate over them, that's called a spiritual bypass. And guys, then we'll always feel like a fraud or imposter syndrome. You ever feel like you have imposter syndrome? Part of that imposter syndrome is because you haven't necessarily walked it. If you try to bypass the road of trials or bypass the issues and the struggles and the hard work, you're going to always feel like you have imposter syndrome. I was an anemic life coach for probably 10 years of my business because I wasn't challenged with that much. And then I realized, oh my gosh, got challenged with my business, and I had somebody steal from me and take, like, my business partner stole and took all of our stuff and went and built his own company and took like everything, like took all the stuff that I'd built down to the stories that I'd created and went and built his own business. Man, that was difficult. That was a challenge. I got audited by the IRS for 2 years that I really didn't keep good books, but made a lot of money. That wasn't good. Almost wiped us out. COVID hit to a company that does 2 events a month for the last 21 years. That didn't help. Like, gosh, I've been on these road to trials like so many times. If I would have bypassed them, I wouldn't be able to serve you today. I wouldn't be able to help the people that I help. So how many of you have tried to bypass the hard work? I don't want to have to do it. I don't want to have to put in the effort. Leah, how tough was the last, I don't know how many months you've been working on this, but getting to your ideal weight? How difficult was it? How hard was it? How disciplined did you have to be every single day? You can just give me a thumbs up and know that you were. Yes. Yes. In other words, you didn't bypass the work. You had to do it.
Yeah, because if you want to see the results, you have to put in the work to get there.
Yeah. If you want to be proud of yourself, you have to put in the work. If you want to feel like you can actually help and serve other people, you have to put in the work. There's a third part that you'll see in every single leader's path, and it's the abyss. The abyss is the dark cave. It's the unknown place. It's unknown, and it makes it fearful. It's the thing that we don't want to have to look into, right? It's the monster lives in the dark cave. It's look at your faces on your body, your faces on your social media feed, your faces on your business, your faces on your relationship. Your face is in your parenting. Your face is on, look at the world around you. Your face is on that, right? That's the abyss. What are you not taking on? What are you not willing to dig into? What shadow part of you or struggle or hard work are you not willing to deal with because it's too hard, it's too scary, it's too unknown? Brenda, you mentioned communicating with your family about your business and them not really taking you serious. What are you not taking on? What are you not looking at? And maybe it's just that you need to be relentless in your communication. Maybe you haven't sold yourself on this business. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like no accusation about anything, but what do you need to take on that's going to create resolve where your family takes you serious and they're like, she's serious about this. Like, look at her go. And I don't know what that is. But guys, look at your lives. Look at your body. You created it. Look at your social media. Look at your friends. How many friends would show up today to your birthday party? I remember asking myself that 3 years ago. I said, how many friends will show up to my birthday party? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe 2. Like maybe family and then 2 friends. And probably because they're forced to. Or they'd really be friends of my wife. They're really not friends of mine. And I had to look at that. I had to really look at that. Where am I engaging? Where am I bringing value to the world? Where am I bringing value to my community? Where am I bringing value to friends, right? Look at your habits. Look at your rituals. Look at your life. Your face is on all of it. What do you want to avoid? What do you really not want to take on because it's scary and it looks scary? That's every single hero, heroine, leader's path has an abyss. Right? And if we skip it, we bypass. But here's the good news. In the abyss, there's a treasure. There's a transformation. And in every single abyss, the transformation and the treasure lies there. And when you stick into that, when you stay with it, when you do the hard work, when you put in the effort, there's treasure. There's the rewards, the recognition, the benefits. Yeah. Are you thinking about the rewards that taking something difficult on will be? What are the rewards? What are the rewards? What if it's just maybe even your recognition of yourself, like you being proud of yourself for putting in the effort, for putting in the work? Again, remember, the biggest problem is people think they don't have one or they shouldn't have one. Instead of your adversities, your biggest struggles, your inadequacies, they've made you who you are today. They are your genius. It's the most beautiful thing about you. The most difficult things you've taken on are your greatest experiences. Your biggest challenges are your greatest experiences. That's the treasure. That's the transformation. And it's the road of every single great leader. Every story has it. So what challenge do you need to take on and why? What challenge is like, it's critical. If I don't take it on, I might get drugged, and I don't want to be drugged. What might be some of the trials that might show up with this? And what are your biggest fears about the journey of that? What don't you want to look at? What have you been avoiding? What don't you want to face? One of the things that's really cool is on the road of trials and in the abyss, it's where we collect allies, meaning where we collect, you think about it, every great story, the leader collects allies, right? He or she collects allies along the way, people to help her, people to help him, people to help along the way. And here's the cool thing is you get spiritual aid along the way, right? And you get elder wisdom. You get people that that will help you. People that have walked the path before you. We call it elder wisdom, right? People that have gone before you. They show up. Allies in the struggle. Allies in the problems. And what are some of the rewards that might lie out there if you take this challenge on? And then once you have that treasure, what will you do with it? And how will you serve other people? How will you help them? Guys, that's the leader's journey. That's the leader's path. The question is, are you taking it on? What needs to be looked at? What needs to be taken on? What needs to be challenged from yourself? And maybe it just is, I want to take on a leadership role like no other. It's time for me to be a leader. It's time for me to step up and be everything that I know that I'm capable of. How many of you know without a doubt you're capable of way more? How many of you know that? Like you're capable of so much more and you're not living it. What does that feel like? What does it feel like to know you're capable of more, but you're not taking it on? Is it just getting by? Is it what? Does it feel like that's building insecurity? What is that? What is that for you? What's that like? And it's okay to just say it sucks. Kara, what's that like?
It feels like comfort or something, sometimes just watching yourself from behind yourself.
Yeah. 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 Kara, if I ask you this question, answer with the first thing that comes out of your mouth. It's important in your life, Kara, to feel what? It's important in your life to feel what?
Loved.
Loved. And what has to happen in order for you to feel loved? You'll feel loved if what?
If I'm surrounded by people that make me happy.
So what if you're surrounded by people that don't make you happy? What if your team is not making you happy because they're not getting off their butts and going out and doing something?
Well, then I need to find a new team.
Isn't that interesting? But so look how you make it really hard to feel loved. You have this rule around loved and say, this is what has to happen in order for me to feel loved. And even the fact that you said loved means that you depend on others to give that to you. Like you can't depend on yourself for that. I'm not saying that others aren't going to bring you love, because they are, for sure. You can't do it alone. But you might feel loved if you just showed yourself love. Like you could do that. You could decide that could be a new rule. Yeah. But what else, Kara? It's important in life for you to feel what? Is secure or safe or comfortable high on that list?
Oh, all of that's been totally blown out the water in the last few months. So, nah, been there, done that.
Ah, good. So you don't need safety and security and all this like certainty in your life to be okay.
Nope, because the world exploded and I'm okay.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? Yeah. How many of you are seeking certainty and safety and comfort? Because it's when you play it safe, it's comfortable. But what you're saying is that, hang on, I'm not fulfilling all that I could fulfill. Yeah. So it's important in your life to feel what, guys? Like it's important. If you really wanted to find out your values, ask yourself that question and you'll know. And you could find out your business values by saying it's important in my business to feel what? And is it alive? Is it successful? Is it like I'm serving other people, like I'm contributing so much more? Like, is that where you're at? Or is it like, it's important in my business to feel like what I do matters? Or is it feeling like I need to feel significant in some way in my business? What's important in your business? What's important in your life? What's important in your relationships?
For me, it's fulfillment in my business. Like feeling fulfilled in it is important.
So Sarah, what has to happen in order for you to feel fulfilled?
I personally have to be in action. Like it's not even about my income. It's about the connections in the community, in the conversations and the lives that I get to positively affect. And so when I'm not in action, when I am in complacency, I don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. What if you made it easier to feel fulfilled? Just like what if Kara made it easier to feel loved? What if you said, I'll feel fulfilled if I wake up in the morning and I'm above ground 5 feet. I don't know how tall you are. 5 feet 6 inches. What if I feel fulfilled?
Well, I feel fulfilled in my life. That's a separate thing. I think if I do feel fulfilled, I'm talking strictly business.
Yeah.
I feel very fulfilled in my life and in my relationships and my friendships and in my, marriage and with my children. I feel very fulfilled in life. In my business, it's like I feel the best when I'm in action. Like that fulfillment in my business is action.
And I love action. I think action is critical. We got to take action if we want to make changes in anything. But what if you could just feel fulfilled in your business just because your business is what it is? I'll feel fulfilled if I have a team full of people. Now, brain's going to go,
gratitude and fulfillment, the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I have gratitude though. I'm very grateful and I love it, but I feel like that keeps me complacent as well.
What if that could, so see, that's interesting. Brain's like, see, if I'm too grateful or I'm too fulfilled, then I'll stay complacent. and then I won't go out and take action. I got to
Well,
go out
there's
and
the fear that it dumps, right? That it falls apart, because I've seen that too, where I get complacent and then it it doesn't state it, things fall apart. Not, I don't say fall apart, but you have to keep momentum going to move forward.
and I agree with that. But the trick is your brain tries to trick you and it says, I'll be happy or I'll be fulfilled in my business when my life conditions equal my expectations. And then I'll finally be happy. And what happens the minute you meet your expectations? What do you do?
Yeah, then it's like
You raise them.
yeah, you raise them.
You raise them and then you go, I got to run around and make all my life conditions equal my expectations. And then you raise them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go and do the same thing and you meet them and you raise them and you keep going on and on and on and you're never fulfilled.
Yeah, it gets tiring.
What if your brain's tricking you? And what if feeling fulfilled was not the same as, or is not the same as complacency in any way, shape, or form? Fulfillment will actually create more action if you can feel fulfilled. What you're feeling is complacency or content, but that's not gratitude. That's not fulfillment. So if you could feel fulfilled because I have a team full of people that are around, you'd feel fulfilled every day, and then you do what a fulfilled person does. The strongest force in human nature, guys, is to be consistent with whatever identity we've created for ourselves. What's the identity you create for yourself? If you're a fulfilled, successful person, you're going to go do what a fulfilled, successful person does. If you're a procrastinator, you're going to go do what a procrastinator does. If you're lazy, you're going to do what a lazy person does. If you're not good enough, you're going to do what a person that's not good enough does. We're consistent with the identity we've created for ourselves. What's the identity you've created for yourself? How many of you are great leaders? We got one hand and it went up quick, like up and down. How many of you are really great leaders? Like you're phenomenal leaders.
Come on, guys. You guys are great leaders. What are you talking about? There's so many great leaders on this call.
What has to happen in order for you to be a great leader? I will be a great leader if what? What are the rules you put on it? And
Guys,
what if,
let's hear from
yeah, let's hear. What are the rules you guys?
Jennifer, Alona, interact. I saw your hands go up because this is where you grow.
You know you're a great leader because what?
Because people want to join your team.
Okay. What if they don't want to join your team?
I'm a good leader. I'm not great. I'm just good.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. So how many people are not going to want to join your
That's why
team?
I think I'm not a great leader.
Yeah. Because how many no's are you going to get before you get yeses? How many people are not interested because they're inundated with information? Stephanie, do you know we get more information on a daily basis than a person received in a lifetime in 1900? And you're giving more information out there to people about your products and this company and everything that it does? What are they going to do? They're being inundated with information. They're being inundated with information and they're being attempted to be sold 62.1 times a day. I don't know where they get the 0.1, but 62.1 times a day according to Comcast Cable. That's the studies that show of people being attempted to be sold. So we have information overload and we're being attempted to be sold. How are you going to make a difference? How are you going to be different? My guess is just out of the gate, people are going to be like, I don't even hear you. I got too much information. I got to put my walls up. I got to be guarded. I'm being sold like crazy. I already got too much. I got to put walls up. In fact, on average, we see people hold back about 40% of their cooperation and productivity. And when you try to sell somebody or try to recruit them, it's more like 80%, which means you're getting about 20% of a person's cooperation and productivity until they've been validated as a human being.
I think also what Sarah, asking me what makes me a great leader, I think that for me, it's when I focus on helping my partners under me to accomplish their goals. I think that says a lot as far as me, like you said, validating them and showing that I care more about them than I do about what I'm getting.
Yeah. So as long as you're serving other people, as long as you're giving other people, you feel like a great leader. I love it. You made it easy. Except at times you're going to go, what about mine? Where's mine? I need to be successful and I want to be paid and I want. So when you feel like that, you might not feel like a great leader.
In those instances, I look though at like, what do I personally need to change? I put a lot on my shoulders as far as the expectations for that goes.
Yeah.
So it's like, how much of a load can I put on myself to be successful? I try not to put that on other people.
Right. But in order for you to be successful, what's that load you have to put on yourself?
There's no limits.
So if it's going to get done the right way, the ideal way, who has to do it?
Well, that's something I'm working on. My husband.
Who's in charge of, if look, I know what your to-do list looks like, Jennifer. It's everything, right? So you'll be enough. So you'll meet those expectations. Guys, we were only born with 2 fears. Like, what are the 2 fears we were born with? Jennifer, you were born with 2 fears. What 2 fears were you born with?
I mean, naturally, I think it would be fear of death.
It's not really death.
Okay, then I have no clue what I'm naturally afraid of.
It's the same thing that Brenda was born with. It's the same thing Brandy was born with. The same 2 fears. The same 2 fears Anna was born with.
Failure?
Nope. Falling and loud noises. Guys, what if those were your only 2 fears today? What if those were your only 2 fears? Falling and loud noises. What would you accomplish? What would you achieve? What would you take on? What would your life be like? But about 9 years old, Jennifer had something else show up for her, a bigger fear. And it's the fear of being enough. Because if she's enough, then she'll be loved. But if she's not enough, she won't be loved. So our 2 greatest fears now become not being enough and not being loved. So Jennifer, that's why your to-do list is everything. Because if you get it all done, you'll someday be enough. How many of you feel like at the end of the day, Jennifer, I know you feel like this at the end of the day, when you are so overwhelmed and you're so exhausted, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do this another day. But part of you goes, oh, I achieved enough. I'm enough today because I'm so overwhelmed. Yes. Oh, I feel good. I'm overwhelmed. I've taken on so much. I'm exhausted. I've done everything for everybody. Okay, I'm enough. How many of you relate to this? Yeah. Expectations. It's the formula we follow, guys. If we run around and we do it all for everybody, if we fulfill all of our expectations, if our conditions finally meet our expectations, we'll finally be good enough. And we make it hard. We make it difficult. We make it challenging. And here's the thing, you get to make it easy. You can rewrite your emotional blueprint. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes accountability. Those are all the sexiest words in the world, right? How many of you love the word accountability? You're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. One person. How many of you love the word repetition? You're like, oh, I just have to be accountable and repeat it over and over and over again, and then I'm successful. Or you're like, I want it now. I want it yesterday. I want to arrive there already. Just bring me to happiness, joy, success. So you want to bypass the road of trials. You want to bypass the hard work. Here's the thing. You'll always be unhappy if that's the case because you won't be proud of yourself because you did the work. Guys, the biggest challenges that you've gone through, they're your greatest strengths. The biggest challenges are your greatest experiences. Are they not? So what challenge are you up for now? And when you rewrite the blueprint, your whole life changes. Greatest experiences of my life. Cancer. A drug overdose in my 20s. My parents' divorce. Greatest experiences of my life. Challenges. Big challenges. Pains. Hurts. They're my genius. They allow me to go through the struggle, the road of trials, the abyss. And it's there that I seek the treasure, the transformation. And I get to bring that home. That's every great leader's path. It's every great leader's journey. We just have to say yes to the challenge. That's the first thing. So the second thing is knowing that we're going to have a road of trials and that we're going to have to deal with them, and we're going to have to find allies on that road of trials. We're going to have to engage. The third thing is we're going to have to go into the abyss. We have to look at that dark place. What do we need to work on? To be a great leader, you need to work on what? You need to challenge yourself to what? You need to say yes to what? You need to say no to what? And if you do, there's a treasure. There's a transformation. But you have to be willing to take it on. Maybe the challenge for you is just being that great leader and doing whatever it takes to be that great leader, accepting the challenge. I'm challenging you all today to be a great leader, to step into that. Even though the road of trials might be very challenging, even if you've already been on a road of trials and you still feel like you're on one, even if you still feel like you're in an abyss. Because here's the thing, what happens if nothing changes? Are you okay with that? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Are you okay if nothing changes? We always underestimate what we can do in 10 years. We always underestimate what we can do in 5 years. And we overestimate what we can do in a month. Leah, did you think, oh my gosh, I just want to get to my ideal weight? And I don't know, Leah, I'm curious, how many pounds did you drop?
I lost 40 pounds, but I'm not where I want to be yet. I still want to lose about another 20.
Okay, so you want to lose 60 pounds.
Yeah.
How badly did you just want to be there? How badly did you just want to get there tomorrow? I just want to eat today like this and just get there.
I
And
mean, really, yeah, really badly. And
you knew it wasn't possible, but that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be at this ideal place. And how many months have you been working on this? Or years?
It's been 1 year.
Yeah. How many of you are like, oh my gosh, 40 pounds, it's going to take me a year, I'm in. You're like, nope, no way. Not even going to happen. Not even going to happen. I want it done in at least a month. How many of you want to get to that next level in your business and you want it now? Yep. How many of you are like, what if I told you it might take a year or 2 or 3? You're like, nope, I'm not in. And that's our problem. We're not willing to go through the difficult things. We want it now. We want it now. And what do you need to work on? What do you really need to be challenged with to take it on? Because you got to be proud of yourself that you did it. And so words like accountability and repetition, they're not our words we look at. We want things now, instant gratification. Yeah. You're going to live the next 2 years or 3. So you can either live them along the journey and enjoy it, or you can keep wishing you were somewhere else, doing something else, with somebody else, with more money, wishing someday you had the body you want, wishing someday you had the relationship you want, wishing someday you had the business you want. Fate will drag you guys eventually. I promise you. I've watched it over and over again. It's best to volunteer. It's best to volunteer for the struggle and the challenge. Anybody have any questions, comments, thoughts about any of this?
I love this. I remember you teaching us the joy in the journey and just finding the joy and not wishing and waiting and hoping, but just doing it and finding the joy in everything you do. So I think today really I think I can speak for a lot of people, is that we just want it right away. We want the next rank in the next, 3 months or 6 months. And if we don't do it at that time, we start to feel like a failure. Same with, losing weight. If you don't lose that 40 pounds, not a whole year, but like 6 months, 4 months, then, you could feel like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't sooner? So just really taking the journey all in and taking, like you said, the trials and the struggles, and we have to go through that so we can teach others when they're going through it and we can help them through it.
Yeah, that's good. We call it the have to be mentality. If I could have this, I could do this and I'll be this. And the whole idea is to reverse that, because that's the lottery mentality, right? I remember driving to Las Vegas from Salt Lake City once, and we came across this gas station in the middle of nowhere. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. And there's like 700 people in line for something. And so we're like, we got to pull over and like see what's going on. This gas station's in the middle of nowhere. There must be a fountain of youth in there or something. I don't know what they're giving out, but we got to take part in this. And so we pull off this off ramp, and I'm talking like nothing within 20 miles of this gas station. And what was everybody in line for? What do you think?
Lottery ticket.
Lottery
Like
tickets.
the Powerball.
The Powerball just like flipped. Nobody took it on or whatever, and it just doubled. And yeah. And the lottery mentality tells us this story. 80% of the people that win the lottery within a year lose everything. 40% of people that win the lottery within a year commit a first-time felony. So that is not a good story. Here's what I know. It's because they've got all the money in the world that thought it was going to make them happy, and it didn't. They bypassed the road of trials. And now they're screwed because all the money in the world didn't do it. Or all the famous or all the whatever didn't do it. Leah, how proud of yourself are you for the work you've put in to lose 40 pounds over a year?
I'm really proud of myself. It actually makes me very emotional. I still can't believe my progress, really. It's hard to believe because it's weird though, because I have a lot of work to do mentally, because I still feel like I'm the same person I was 40 pounds ago. Like when I look at a picture of myself, I think, oh God, you did lose 40 pounds. But when it's just like me looking in the mirror, I still don't see that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense to people.
My guess has changed though. You've created a new identity. And because you've taken the time to create a new identity, you're not going to gain it all back, which is what a 6-month diet will do. The lottery mentality, right? Like for me, I'd go 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, starve myself, look great, then I'd gain it all back.
Yeah, I mean, I am very proud of the work that I've put in, and I'm proud that I took the first step in my journey, and that I've been able to accomplish all of this. Like I'm just proud of myself for, what I've accomplished in a year.
Yeah, that means you haven't bypassed the hard work. You didn't bypass
Right.
it. If you bypassed it, you wouldn't be that proud of yourself and it wouldn't stick. Yeah.
Well, and just to touch on that, because just reflecting, you said like, what are your thoughts on the call, and just reflecting on my journey with your program and finding joy in the journey, shortly after your program, I had just, a fall in my business, and it was, what I would call a valley. And, I was able to use tools that you gave me, mindset tools, to eventually, I realized I was having so many sabotaging thoughts, and I was able to utilize mindset tools, which a lot of my team have benefited from. And then we exploded our business. And I just think about Leah's journey with, her weight loss, and, those trials and that work and that effort that I put in, and the place that I came from is what I'm able to give to my team now to help them through their journeys. And Leah is, not just utilizing, pardon me, she's empowering so many other women, just amazing to take steps on their health. So it's like, if you're trying to go help other people, just relating it, to the business, if you're trying to go help other people and help them have success, or whether it's with the products or the program or the business, if you don't go through the trials, it's hard to be really authentic.
Yeah. That's good. There's 3 levels of mastery, guys, in life. There's cognitive, you know something. There's emotional mastery, you feel it. And there's a physical mastery, you actually just do it. And to get to the physical mastery, it requires 3 things. It requires repetition, accountability. I mean, think about it. Did your parents hold you accountable for brushing your teeth? And did you brush your teeth every single day? And maybe even went to the dentist and had cavities and went, oh my gosh, this is emotional and I don't ever want to experience this again. So you started brushing your teeth every single day. And now it's a physical habit for most of you. I don't know if that's for everybody, but I brush my teeth every day. It's an emotional, physical mastery. What have you mastered in your life? What are you a professional at? What are you absolutely mastered? And you go, there's some things I've mastered that I don't necessarily like some bad habits. But you got bad habits because there was some emotional component to it and you just did it over and over again. So the only way to create new habits is the same way. You know it. I know I should be doing these things, but then you got to feel it and then you got to repeat it over and over again. Now there's a long version, there's a fast version. The fast version is immersion. You got to immerse yourself. It's like my son went to he took Spanish and he took 6 weeks of Spanish and then went to Chile. And how do you think he did in Chile with 6 weeks of Spanish? Man, he couldn't do anything. He couldn't get around. But being in Chile was the immersion, right? He went to a place where they only speak Spanish, right? 90% of the population only speaks Spanish. So he learned how to speak Spanish pretty quick. Like within 6 weeks, he was doing 10 times what he learned in a class. That's called immersion, right? So you can go a slow path or you can immerse yourself. And immersion is growth. It's taking on what's uncomfortable, what's difficult. I have something for you guys. If you want to immerse yourself. If you want to immerse yourself in the abyss, and I mean it's taking on that shadow stuff that you might not want to take on. Whatever it is that's going on in your life, that's that shadow stuff, that difficult stuff, that hard stuff, that challenging stuff that's holding you back from being the great leader or from losing the weight or from having the great relationship, whatever that is. I have a 3-day event, and it's a 3-day virtual event. And it's not a Zoom call, it's a virtual event. And it's going to require you to really get out of your comfort zone. This event is not for everybody. This event is challenging. This event, you will come and you will do difficult things. You will get out of your comfort zone massively. We will have you interacting with each other. I will have you doing exercises that you never thought you would do in a virtual event. You will get uncomfortable because you will take on the abyss. You will take on the difficult stuff in your life that's holding you back. Some of you have taken our assessment. I'm sure, have you guys taken this thing, this assessment that measures your brain? Anybody taken that? You guys not taking that?
And I didn't. Probably just Alona and I. We have a pretty new team since we last saw you.
This assessment literally shows you what's going on with your brain. So it's not a personality thing. It measures what's happening at your subconscious. So it tells you the good and bad advice your brain is giving you. And you'll take this assessment before the event, and then we'll dig into it line by line. And this event, it's not easy. It's not for everyone. Like certainly it's 3 days, and it's 3 days during the week. So it's like, oh my gosh, like it's taking work off for some people, and it's like getting childcare, and it's asking people, it's enrolling people in your life to like help you out during this time. But it's 3 days. And here's what I promise you. If you attend this 3-day event, it's a shortcut to taking on the abyss. It's a shortcut to the road of trials. Because you'll do it in 3 days. You will immerse yourself in 3 days. You will immerse yourself in 3 days of nothing but taking on you at a deep level. It's not a lot of fluff. It's not a lot of, it's not a lot of one-liners. It's like you guys will do work. You'll do heavy work in this event. And you will overcome so much, and you'll be really proud of yourself for taking it on. But it's challenging. So I'm going to put the link to this event up here. We make it super inexpensive for you guys to attend. And I'm sure there are all the reasons why you might not want to do it. And maybe one of those is you've done things in the past that you're not necessarily, maybe they haven't worked, or you have some shame about some decisions you made in the past. That's an objection most people get. That's an objection that you're going to have people give you around when you offer your business. They're going to go, I don't know, because I have some shame about a decision I made in the past, and I don't know how to overcome that. Let them know that every single great experience is on the other side of fear. And the same thing's true for you guys. So this 3-day event is called The Power of You. Now, part of this event is a challenge that I'll give you beforehand, which is absolutely free. So you can attend a 3-day challenge before this event, and it's absolutely free of charge. The event itself is, I think it's $97, but I have a discount for you guys, and I'll put it in the, let's see, I can put it right here. So there's The Power of You. And if you use this discount code, Power of You, you get, I think it's 20% off. And then the Power of You challenge is something you guys can all take part in as well. And that's absolutely free. So the Power of You event is a 3-day event. I would love for you guys to attend. Again, it's not for everybody because it's intense. It's not just a Zoom call. It's not like we sit on the Zoom and you listen to me. Like, you're engaged the entire process, the entire time. We do what are called I'm losing track. What do we call? We call them we call them coaching, but it's not really coaching. It's interventions. We do interventions on the call, which is like, what are you struggling with? And then I work with you guys individually doing these interventions, and everybody learns from people having breakthroughs on the call. So we do these interventions in this event that they're intense. They are. They're like you guys taking on your biggest struggles, your biggest issues, the things that are slowing you down the most. And you'll know because the assessment will tell you line by line where you're getting stuck in your life. And then we'll break them down line by line. And the event is it in May? It's in April. Sorry, the event is actually in April, guys. It is, I should know this, but it's April 6th, 7th, and 8th. That's the event. The Power of You Challenge is next week. And it's 3 days, 1 hour a day.
Oh, I was gonna say, what is the challenge commitment time-wise?
The challenge is just 1 hour each day over 3 days. And that's really, if you want to get a feel for like, hey, what's this event going to be all about? Like, that's a good place to attend and go, oh, I see, we're going to take on that stuff. But you guys, your intuition already told you like, hey, this guy can help me or this guy can't. Or this guy's full of shit or he knows his shit. One of the two. Or like, I really do feel like this is for me or it's not. You guys, your intuition has already spoke to you. That's your gut. And that's what you want to follow. For sure.
Thank you, Brandon, so much. I mean, so amazing. I captured the information and so we'll share it on our page. And, you know, you guys know, and I work really closely with a lot of you. I don't do a lot of just coaching stuff. Like I just don't, you know, there's a lot of different things that come around and things that are offered to us. And Brandon is the only coach I ever hired. I only had him for 1 year. I say only, I mean, it was a great year. And at the time that I went through that coaching, I didn't realize how much it would affect my life in the following year to come. And, you know, a lot of you have benefited from it. I get a lot of messages from you guys. I mean, saying you have a gift, you have this, you know, helping people get over blockages. And, you know, part of that is, you know, natural for me and just my heart to help and being insightful. But a lot of the tools and in the exercises that I use are Brandon. So if you or your team have ever benefited from that, you can trust Brandon, you can trust me, because I don't promote a lot of things. I'm very guarded. You don't see us getting a lot of guest speakers. We get a lot of calls and a lot of programs that want to be, you know, sold to our teams and opportunities. And I think that Brandon is really fair in his pricing. in the offer that he gives. And it's not, for me, it wasn't just about Juice Plus and our business and the growth. It was about finding joy in my life and in my relationships and my thought patterns, and not finding joy in my thought patterns, but helping me with my thought patterns. And it's just all over amazing mental wellness. And I thank you, Brandon, for that tonight, and to be able to give that, and for not giving up, because I know you've shared other things in the past, and maybe it wasn't the right time or my head wasn't in the right space for it, but definitely in the right space this time, and know that the team could definitely benefit from this. So I would highly personally recommend it. I know Alona has gone through the program, and not that this is a program, but been coached by Brandon's team as well, that their stuff is very helpful.
Yeah, it's cool when you get your team in here and they take the assessment, and then you're working together in these events. Some of the conversations you're able to have with people aren't around all the excuses. They're around self-esteem. Like, hey, where's your self-esteem bar? And where's your joy in the journey? And where was that vivid visionary? And tell me about the walls that you're guarded with. And you guys just have different conversations. And they're so much richer. As a leader, you become... It almost makes your leadership like more enjoyable because you can have richer conversations with people on your team. So I'd highly encourage you guys to get you and your team to this and take the assessment, because all of a sudden your conversations change dramatically. And it's like, oh, this is what's getting in my way. It's not this other thing that I thought. It was like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in. I'm signing up. I would love to sign up. And I think it's exactly what I need right now, because, we go through valleys and different seasons in our business, and I'm in a season where I'll just admit it, blockages right now going on. And even though I know some of this stuff, like you said, Brandon, sometimes I think you said, use the word anemic in your coaching, at one point in your business. And sometimes we have to fill our own cups so that we can, we have to do the hard work so that then we can lead other people, right? That's what it is, right? And so I'm all in. I'd love to have you guys, as many of you as possible, be all in too. But
who's with Sarah? I'm curious. Who's with her?
I'm all in.
Okay, we got
Awesome.
3 people attending. All right. How many of you are like, I don't know, maybe? Okay. Kelly's like,
is it
maybe.
time or is it a weekday? What is it? I know it's not $97 with a 20% discount. If it is, we need this business more than ever, then you need to do it. No offense, but, yeah, the dates,
the
right?
time.
A lot of people work.
It's the
full-time.
time for me.
Yeah.
But although I'm just looking at your website and you've got the anxious brain in May, I'm in. I need that one.
I love Stephanie.
I love your smile, Stephanie. Thanks for making me chuckle tonight.
I love it. I may not be ready yet, Renee, but I see it in my future.
Ah, yes. I'm going to challenge you. This is a call. This is a challenge. I'll challenge you to this. A call to challenge for the great leader. Yeah.
Oh, someone says, Anna says, I'm in the conference the 6th, but could do the 7th and 8th. What if somebody, what do you think about, what do you think about that? If somebody can't be all in, because they're, she's working as a, well, actually Anna's in a conference, but a lot of these people work full time,
you can also get this recorded too, and it can be, I'm going to encourage you to be live, but the 7th is a full day. So as long as you're there for the 7th, that's the full day. 6th is a half day, and 8th is a half day. The 7th is a full day. So that's 9 to 5. So as long as you could be there for that, that's really going to be the chunk of it.
If they signed up and let's just say they couldn't be there on the 6th, would they be able to get the recording the night of the 6th so they could watch it before the 7th and the 8th, so they're not feeling sort of out of the loop? I know it's a lot of hands-on stuff, but at least then they have an idea of where everybody's at the next day, so they're not coming in out of left field.
I know there's an option to get the recording. I think it's a little bit more than, I think we give it, it's 97 with 20% off. It's like $79 to attend. And then you can do a VIP. I think it's like $159 with 20% off. And then you get all the recordings on top of that. And there's more that you get than that. So you get like our motivational series, you get an additional 2 hours with Michelle and I around relationships, and I don't know. There's a couple of other things you get as well. So you can sign up for a VIP ticket too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, we'll put all the information there, and then maybe as well moving forward, Brendan, and I'll try to, and with Alona's help as well, watch your website. But maybe you could just, knock on my door a little bit with some of the stuff that you have coming up, just to get it on my radar again. That would be great.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it.
Yeah, awesome. Well, guys, can
All right,
we
guys.
just thank Brandon in the chat? Unmute. Oh, it's unmute. I know
Thank
everybody. He's got
you.
lots going on in the background. Brandon, thank you so much. I just love your coaching.
Thank you, Brandon.
Thanks,
So
guys.
real.
Thank you.
We look forward to
Yeah.
seeing you soon. Take care.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much.
Brandon.
Thank you.
Welcome. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye, Brandon. Thank
Thanks,
you for being a
Sarah.
blessing
See
to
you
us.
later.
Bye, guys. I'm going to end it now. Thank you.